What are you going to do with that? I think that's my favorite question. As soon as someone chooses a major or decides on continuing their education, I heard it said just the other day by my own grown son to his 15-year-old sister who decided she wanted to be a music major. She wants to teach music on a high school level, but he couldn't see her vision. Instead, with all the skepticism and criticism dripping from his voice, he's like, "So what are you going to do with that?" Yeah, and actually, what he was asking and what other people ask when they ask, "What are you going to do with that?" is they want a justification for the time and the money that will be spent on higher education. As we look at it, we really need to ask, what are you going to do with that? And how do you justify the expense? Are you too old to go back to school to retool yourself? I often hear that one. And are you too young? Maybe you don't really know. What do you not get? Are you simply not understanding the opportunity afforded to you? There are so many questions and items to look at when choosing a major and deciding what you really want to do. Responses really can take several different approaches, but I think the best option to ask really honestly is, what am I going to learn from a college education? It's not about what you're going to get from that or what you're going to do with that, but what are you going to learn from higher education? So let's take a look at it and let's see some ideas. Remember that knowledge is eternal. It really is the only thing that you can take with yourself beyond the grave. You're going to learn more than the content of a textbook or whatever's taught in that classroom. What you learn from that classroom or what you learn from a college education is work ethic. You learn how to prioritize and schedule. Can you imagine not having the ability to prioritize or schedule when you have several different syllabuses and you're looking at all those syllabi and you're wondering, oh my goodness, look at all these classes. How do I balance this? Work ethic and prioritizing and scheduling then become very an integral part of that wonderful gift of higher education. Perseverance and lifelong learning skills are also part of this. You also are going to get to know yourself better, and this would include your personality, your work style, your learning style. What do you really enjoy? Who are you? And what do you want to do with yourself? You have networking opportunities with classmates, peers, faculty, even staff, and you're going to develop learning skills. You also have many other things. You're going to learn some self-discipline. You're going to prioritize what really matters. Remember, we talked about that with the scheduling piece, and that really is it. You get to prioritize, and that is a major part and a major piece of what is wanted when you're going to enter into that workforce. You can gather resources, and you learn to stay healthy, or you learn self-care. You've moved from being that dependent person in someone else's household to being an independent person. You also are going to understand your natural clock. You're going to be able to schedule around it. And you're going to be able to say, wow, I learn best in the mornings, or I learn best in the evenings. And you get to choose how you are learning and when. We also can look at how we can attain a sense of accomplishment and feel successful. My favorite story is of a young man who dropped out of college with one class left. Why? Simply because he didn't pass that last class, but he already had a job, and the new employer didn't care. He was offered 6 figures. He left, and he never turned back until the company went under. As a 50-year-old man, he returned to a college campus, determined that he was going to finish. I loved watching him at the end of one semester where not only did he have to take 1 class, but he had to take 6 in order to bring himself up to date and retool himself. He was so excited, he nearly danced. You could pull him out and see him in the long line of graduates because he was the one who was bouncing with excitement. You're going to learn tolerance of others. You will come across people of other cultures and learning disciplines. You will learn to interact with others. Your writing and communication skills are going to increase, and you will learn to advocate for yourself. And this is just as important as learning content. You're going to learn to say no, and you'll learn to say yes. You're going to learn the ability to not spread yourself too thin. You'll learn how to set goals, not just long-term goals, but intermediary goals, your immediate goals, and you're going to even figure out how to create those steps to meet each of those goals. So, what are you going to do with that? What a silly question. The better question is, what won't you do with that?